What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about sight alignment or sight picture. I am cross-eye dominant, so I'm going to go over some of the tips and tricks that I utilize to alleviate that. But then I'm also going to break down just normal sight picture and what that should look like with iron sights and a pistol, and give you guys some tips and tricks to hopefully help you out so you can get a crisp, clean sight picture so you guys can get on target fast and get good follow-up hits. Let's check it out. Okay guys, so when it comes to sight alignment, there are three planes of focus. You're gonna have your rear sight, your front sight, and then your target beyond it. Your front sight is going to be the most important. That's where most of your focus is going to be drawn to. Your rear sight is going to be somewhat out of focus, and your target is going to be somewhat out of focus. I realize how counterintuitive that sounds. Now, once you establish which one of your eyes is dominant, left or right, and you work on these drills, you'll be able to eliminate the double target issue, or it won't be completely eliminated, but your brain will learn to work around it and you'll know which target to actually aim at. Okay guys, the first thing that we're gonna do is figure out which eye is dominant for you. So I want you to pick an object in the room that's about 3 feet away, and I want you to take your thumb with an outstretched arm and I want you to cover it and leave both eyes open. Now, one at a time, keep the object covered and close one eye. Now, if you've closed your right eye, and the object is still covered, you are left eye dominant. If you close your left eye and the object is still covered, you're right eye dominant. What you'll notice is if you leave the wrong eye open, your thumb will then move off of the object and it'll be in picture again. All right guys, now that we know which eye is dominant, we can focus on the techniques that are gonna train our brain to use the correct eye whenever we line up our sight picture. Now I wanna specify, you're not necessarily training your eyes here, you're training your brain. So like I said before, you can't really focus on all three things, the rear sight, the front sight, and the target. The thing that's gonna be most in focus is your front sight. Your rear sight is going to be the second most in focus thing that you're looking at, and then your target is going to be the most out of focus. I realize that sounds counterintuitive. However, once you have the front post primarily in focus and your rear sight just in focus enough to line up the notch of the rear sight with the front sight, you'll still have enough focus on your target to line up, whether it's on the bullseye or on the A zone of the silhouette, to make your shot. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. You're training your brain. Your brain's been doing the same stupid thing for the last however many years you've been around. So it's going to take a little bit of training, and I'm going to show you kind of some of the tools that I utilize and the techniques that I use as being a cross-eye dominant shooter. So what you're going to want to do is grab some safety glasses. Don't use the good ones for the range. Go grab some cheapos from the dollar store or from the hardware store or whatever. And you're going to take some painter's tape. If you don't have painter's tape, you can use duct tape. The reason that I like painter's tape is because it comes off a little bit easier. And you're going to put that over the lens of your non-dominant eye, like that. And just tear off the extra. Doesn't have to be pretty or anything like that. And what you're going to be doing is focusing on sight alignment drills. So you're going to want to keep this eye open. Don't close it, although your brain's going to say, hey, close that eye because you're not using it. So what that's going to do is it's going to take the strain off of your brain in deciding which eye is dominant and which one's taking over for this sight alignment. And so I want you to practice just bringing your firearm up, focusing on your front sight. Rear sight is the second most in focus piece, and then your target is the least in focus. But again, it should still be in focus enough that you can acquire that target, either see the bullseye or see the A zone on the silhouette, and just keep training, bringing your firearm up and acquiring your target. Now, if you want to go live fire and do this at the range, you can. However, I would suggest not shooting continuously like this because again, you're training your brain, you're not training your eyes. So what I would do is safely bring up, fire once, bring it down. Bring up, acquire your sights, fire once, bring it down, and keep doing that. That is going to create that brain muscle memory to acquire the iron sights the exact same way over and over again to line up your target. Now, once you've done that and you feel like you've made some progress, take the tape off of your safety glasses here, and then what you're going to do is grab some chapstick. Vaseline will work too. I'm not going to judge your personal life. And you're just going to put a little bit on there and kind of smudge up the non-dominant eye side. Now, don't coat it on there. Just put a little bit on there, and then you're going to rub it the rest of the way in because you don't want to completely obscure your vision through here. You just want to make it hazy. So show you what that looks like. See, that one's pretty clear. That one's not so much clear. So just kind of paint it on there with your finger like that. Put your glasses back on. Now this is the key, is that you'll still be able to see out of this, but it's super hazy and foggy. So it's making my brain put power to my dominant eye whenever I acquire my target. And so same thing, bring it up, line up your sights, bring it down. You can dry fire like this. Again, if you want to go to the range and live fire, I would acquire your target, fire once, bring it down to low, ready, and then repeat. And again, just keep doing this over and over, and you're going to train your brain, or that brain muscle memory. And then once you've accomplished that, you can clean these right off with some rubbing alcohol or some gasoline or whatever, Dawn dish soap, and you'll be good to go. All right, so for my cross-eye dominant shooters, I got a little trick that I utilize to basically put power to the dominant eye and train my brain so that when I present my firearm, the focus goes to that dominant eye. And all I do is I turn my head slightly to the right. So I'm putting my dominant eye, or my left eye, forward of my right eye. So I'm kind of pushing my right eye off to the side, and then I'm lining my sights up with my left eye more forward than my right. I'm going to show you kind of what that looks like here in just a second. So you can see I kind of turn my head just a little bit. And again, what that does is it brings my left eye forward of my right eye. And for whatever reason, that tells my brain, all right, this guy's in control. He's leading the charge. Focus comes from here. When I first started to work the kinks out of the cross-eye dominant shooting thing, I had a really bad habit of tucking my head down and putting my chin onto my shoulder. Don't do that. What that does is it cuts off a lot of your peripheral vision, and it's just a bad habit to get into. So keep your head up, and again, you're just turning your head ever so slightly so you make your sight alignment. That combined with the safety glasses trick, once you do those couple of things, I promise you, dry fire, dry fire, dry fire. It doesn't matter what it is. 90% of the things that you're doing wrong on the range can be fixed with dry fire. So if you guys have any questions or comments, drop them down below. I know when it comes to sight alignment and sight picture with iron sights and focus and focal planes and all that stuff, that can be a little weird and confusing. So again, if you have comments, throw those down in the bottom, or questions. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep shooting.